Let's look at Thursday in the NBA. There are 9 games on. Let's preview them, talk about who's in and who's out, streaming options. Oh, no, yeah. Jimmy Butler suspended again. Michael Bolton.
Thanks, Josh. It's Michael Bolton here, and it's time for another episode of the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it, indeed.
You are Locked On Fantasy, your daily NBA fantasy podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Basketball Podcast, brought to you by Basketball Monster. My name is Josh Lloyd, and there's one thing that bothers me. It's when lesbian bars don't have fire exits. I'm also the lead fantasy analyst at basketballmonster.com, and you can find me on Blue Sky, joshloyd.bsky.social, on Twitter at redrock_bball, on TikTok at redrock_bball, and on Instagram at LockedOnFantasyBasketball. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LockedOnNBA to get $20 off your first purchase. Check out LockedOnDaily.com. Over there, you will find the best newsletter for your favorite NBA team. Go check that out. It would be great. I would appreciate it a lot. We're here to talk about Thursday's action across the NBA. It is National Pie Day. So whatever your favorite pie is, get it going. Get it into your mouth. Go for it. Pie Day. Who doesn't love a pie? All right. We're talking games. It is an early start. 2 p.m. Eastern is the first game. It's the Paris game. The first of the Paris games, Spurs Pacers. So just don't forget to have your lineups ready, roaring, cracking, ready to go for that first one, which is the first game that we'll talk about here. Like I said, Spurs and Pacers in Paris. Weird that they've designated the first game as a Pacers home game when obviously we know that they're all there for Victor, but that's okay. Yes, they're playing 2 games and one of them will be the Spurs home game. I know this, but it doesn't really matter in the purposes of anything outside of me rambling here. The Pacers are 3-point favorites here. Both of these teams are in a schedule minus spot because they just don't play due to all the travel. The Pacers are actually in a horrible spot. 2 games this week and 2 games next week. 4 games over 2 weeks is dreadful. It's so bad. Anyway, the only guy currently sitting on the injury report for these 2 teams is Jeremy Sochan. And it does feel like that Sochan's going to return. So, that makes it interesting to just see how clean everything. Obviously, the Pacers have got those guys all out with the torn Achilles, but we're in an interesting spot where there's not that much to worry about. I want to watch Victor Wembanyama for the Spurs, not because he could be added off the wire or anything stupid like that, but recently he's just dropped a little bit. I don't know if it's a fatigue thing, the shooting's a little bit down. Things are just a little bit down for Wemby, so I want to see them bounce back up. On the Pacers side of things, Aaron Nesmith's returned. He's played 2 games, very limited minutes, but there's an impact with him, with Mathurin, with Nembhard, with McConnell, with Jarris Walker. Hello. Just how all those minutes get distributed because of Nesmith's return. In terms of stream guys, Steph Castle is probably the Spurs player. It could be the pencil Harrison Barnes. Barnesy? But it probably isn't. I'd rather Castle there because if we do get Sochan out, then I would be more interested in using Castle in that particular spot. And then for the Pacers, Andy Nembhard strikes me as the guy that we want to pay attention to. The second game of the day has an incredibly long and large injury list. We did get some updates on this just recently come in. It is the Blazers and the Orlando Magic. It is a scheduled plus spot for Portland. Matisse Thybulle is out. Donovan Clingan is out. DeAndre Ayton left the last game early, and I thought this would be a great excuse for them to rest him or sit him down or fake injure him or whatever. And they haven't fully done that. I thought he'd be doubtful to play. They've put him as questionable. So they are acknowledging that something happened there, but they're putting him as questionable. They've also chucked Anthony Simons onto the list as questionable. Like I said this yesterday on the recap, that I think they're going to just fake injure a bunch of guys, one every day, so that guys like Scoot and Avdia and Sharp and Kamara can play their 30 minutes a night, because it's impossible to do when everyone is healthy. So that would be my worry. So Simons missed because of an elbow injury, came back, took all the shots in the world, now has back soreness. Sorry, I'll just call bullshit on it. Wow, what an outrageous position to take, Josh. It's garbage. Kamara and Chris Murray are both questionable. And then on the Magic side of things, we actually got some interesting stuff. Jalen Suggs is out. All right. Goga Badadze is doubtful. I had them both listed as sort of close enough to doubt. I actually had Goga as questionable. So Goga's not going to play and Suggs isn't going to play. Gary Harris is officially questionable. Jet Howard is questionable. I don't think they play. John Isaac is questionable. He lasted 4 minutes in the last game before he had to leave. But the interesting thing is that old mate Franz Wagner is ready. He's questionable. I didn't think he would play, but he's questionable to return. So Franz might be back here. So that whole Magic team, Suggs, Goga, Isaac, Anthony, Harris, Howard, Wagner. There's a lot of moving parts and pieces with this squad. And it's going to make it something we really need to watch. On the Blazers, I want to see what Shaedon Sharpe is doing because 27 minutes for Sharpe is not enough to have an impact right now. You still probably hold him, even though his game is not particularly good. But we want to see, do they go back to Sharpe and Scoot together? Which, again, is crazy. They're not trying to explore that. We'll see. On the Magic side of things, what does this mean for Mr. Black? If Cole Anthony plays and Franz is back, does Anthony Black start? Is he useful enough? I don't know. And Franz returning will obviously push Tristan da Silva back to the bench and then limit maybe some of the production of someone like a Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And we'll see how it impacts in terms of how many minutes Franz plays and all that sort of stuff. In terms of stream, guys, I do think Robert Williams is worth a look. There's no Klingon. There's probably no Ayton, but also there might be an Ayton. I just do not know. And then KCP on the Magic side of things. But both of these teams, a million question marks. Simons, Ayton, Simons, Ayton, Goga's not going to play. Franz, Cole, all these guys. There's so many moving parts and pieces. It's going to be really tough to try and figure out which way they're going with this. Raptors and the Hawks is the next one for us. We're in Atlanta. It is a back-to-back for the Hawks on this one. Schedule plus spot for Atlanta as well. Quickly is going to be out for the Raptors. Ochai Agbaji is questionable. He's missed the last couple. Nance and Ricochet are out on the Hawks side of things. And then Jalen Johnson is questionable for Wednesday, so we'll see whether he plays on Thursday. Got him questionable there. And Trae Young is probable. I expect that Trae plays, but this is a very, very busy period for the Hawks with 5 games in 7 nights starting Wednesday. On the Raptors, last game we got a big performance from Bruce Brown. I don't think that we need to really consider him in 12s at this stage, if at all. But we have to watch to see what they do. Was it just because Agbaji was out? Was it because it was a weird comeback game that they bumped his minutes? That's possible. Same with Kelly Olynyk. We just see what happens. And then in stream options, it is Grady Dick for the Raptors. And then on the Hawks, it's Vit Krejci, whose value would rise even further if Jalen Johnson does happen to be sidelined. Let's do the next one. I believe actually Jalen Johnson has just been ruled in for today's game. Let me double check that. So we know, Jalen Johnson and Trae are both playing on Wednesday. It is the beginning of 5 and 7. So we just watch the status of Jalen for that Thursday game. I'm not certain that he's ruled out, but we watch it. Next one, Heat and the Bucks. If you're unaware, Milwaukee's game on Wednesday against the Pelicans has been postponed due to weather conditions. So I don't know if there's going to be any problem with this game, but that has happened. And then, of course, we got the news that Jimmy Butler is being suspended for 2 games for missing a team flight. And of course, I'm sure there's part of it just being a general dick as well, which he has been doing. So he's out for 2 games. This whole saga is just so frustrating. It's so annoying. It's just, I'm sure it's more annoying for Heat fans and players too. It's so, and this is Jimmy's plan. Be an idiot, be annoying, force the team to trade you because they won't pay you $55 million a year when you're age 36 and you still can't stay healthy now anyway. Just make it so unbearable, be so unlikable, do so many things wrong that they have to get rid of you. Oh, well. Josh Richardson's going to be out for Miami, and of course Butler is going to be out, like I said. Tyler Hero missed the last game. He's listed probable. And then on the Bucks, well, we don't have their updated injury report. We had their Wednesday injury report. Big Boom AJ Green was out for Wednesday, so I'll stick him as questionable for Thursday. And then Giannis, Middleton, and Beauchamp. Now, originally, I didn't think Middleton would play in this game because it was second half of a back-to-back, but it's not anymore, so I guess that he will be okay. But I'll put him and Giannis and Beauchamp as all probable. They're all listed probable for the game on Wednesday, so I'll just carry that over. On the Heat side of things, Nikola Jovic is playing pretty well. We obviously want to watch what happens with Khalil Ware. And now does Jaquez move into that starting lineup with Butler out? Do they put Highsmith back at the 3? Does Jovic play down? Probably not. But Jovic is putting up enough numbers, I think, to be a 12-team league guy. On the Milwaukee side, Middleton's doing just enough. It is hard in 24 minutes to maintain high enough value, but at the moment he is doing enough. In terms of streams, Ware is still only 35% rostered on Yahoo. He's 100% on our Basketball Monster number, so obviously disconnect there. But some of you who are watching, Ware will be on your waiver wire. He should not be. Please go on at him. And then on the Bucks side of things, it's not as exciting. It's Taurean Prince who you can look at there. But if it's not Ware, you go to Jovic or you go to Huckes on the Heat side as the primary stream option there. Today's episode is brought to you by TalkSpace. Yes, TalkSpace, new sponsor to the show. And we know that therapy can be a game changer. It helps you manage stress. It helps you improve sleep, communicate more effectively. And finding the right therapist can be tough, and fitting sessions into a busy schedule can be tough. And that is where TalkSpace comes in. TalkSpace is a leading virtual therapy provider, making getting the help that you need easy, accessible, and affordable. And with TalkSpace, signing up is simple. You can match with a licensed therapist who fits your needs, usually within 48 hours, and it's convenient. Get your sessions done at home and even message your therapist between appointments. And it is covered, TalkSpace, by many insurance plans. And for most insured members, there is a $0 copay. And as a listener to this show, you get $80 off your first month with TalkSpace when you go to TalkSpace.com/LockedOnNBA and enter the promo code SPACE80. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to TalkSpace.com/LockedOnNBA, enter the promo code SPACE80 to get $80 off your first month. That is TalkSpace.com/LockedOnNBA. Promo code is SPACE80. Okay, let's get into the next grouping of games. What is the next one? It is the Mavs, the Thunder. Both of these teams are on a back-to-back. The Thunder are in a schedule minus situation. We do have some updates on Mavs injuries for Wednesday. Najee Marshall isn't playing Wednesday. Klay Thompson isn't playing Wednesday, but Quentin Grimes is playing Wednesday. I don't know what that means for their status on Thursday, but we didn't know their status for Wednesday at this point, but now we do. What we also know is that Luka Doncic is out and Dereck Lively is out. Now, I want to be really clear on this. Shams reported with Dereck Lively and the foot bone fracture that he'll be out for 2 to 3 months. That makes sense. The Mavs took 3 hours to acknowledge it. They put out an injury update saying Dereck Lively has this foot fracture and will be reevaluated in 4 weeks. Not everyone, people will often look and go, oh, that says 4 weeks. I'm not going to drop him. That does not mean he is back in 4 weeks. This is the same thing with the Chet Holmgren thing that, reevaluated in whatever they said, 10 weeks. And yet, now next reevaluation is in 5 weeks. Teams are doing this now. It is a great way for them to not to get away with stuff, but to provide moving timelines to reduce pressure on athletes, which I think is a positive. It's harder for us, but it's a positive for the athletes because you know how I've had these issues with the way that teams provide injury reports, and it makes it seem like athletes are soft because of the way they talk about it or that they don't want to play or whatever. Put a reevaluation date on there. In 4 weeks, I think they'll come back, and what they will say is, yeah, he's progressing and he'll be reevaluated in another 3 weeks. And then we'll go again. This does not mean, it doesn't rule it out, but it does not mean that Dereck Lively is back in 4 weeks. I would say there's a 0.05% chance that Lively is back in 4 weeks. The 2 to 3 months sounds correct. 4 weeks is reevaluation. Teams are doing this. It is widespread across the NBA. It is a way to manage the scenario, manage the publicity and the PR, and reduce unnecessary pressures on athletes. That is what it is. Yep, got that? Cool. Dante Exum's out, I believe. Jaden Hardy, I think he's going to be out. He's out on Wednesday. So is Clay and Najee and Dwight Powell. I don't think that Hardy or Powell play Thursday. The others we're just guessing out. Hartenstein is out for Wednesday. I don't think he returns Thursday, but we're sort of at that 1 week mark from his original soleus strain. Chet's going to be out. And then the Bronco, Jalen Williams, is still dealing with this questionable tag. I honestly just don't think that he plays in the game on Wednesday, but I think he's a decent chance to play Thursday. The game on Wednesday is against the Jazz. Dinwiddie is probably going to be the stream in Dallas, especially with maybe Marshall or Clay or Grimes or Hardy. There's a lot of guys that are going to be out, so Dinwiddie is worth an option. Obviously, if Daniel Gafford is there, that's just a must-roster spot. And then Pig Williams for Oklahoma City is the guy to stream there. You could look at the Hong Kong mattress, Case and Wallace as well, but I do like Big Jalen Williams as a better stream option probably there. Next game is the Kings and the Nuggets, and you'll be glad to know that the injury report for this one is just not anywhere near anything like that Magic one or like that Dallas one. This is a spot where the Nuggets are 7.5 point favorites. The Kings are playing on a back-to-back, and the only guy currently on the injury report is Vlatko Cancar, who is out. That's it. Nobody else. So what are we watching for? On the Nuggets, Christian Brown, last few games have been very, very, very good. I don't see him as a lock locked in, absolute, guaranteed must-roster guy. I want to see the shooting percentages, and let's see if there's a Nuggets game that's not a double-digit game. That would be great, so we can get maybe a better idea of their rotations. Keon Ellis is just going to feel like a perpetual stream option on the Kings, and he is that here again. And then Julian Stroud has pushed his name into being a stream guy on the Nuggets by shooting well and scoring at a pretty high level. The next game is another weird one. It's the Warriors hosting the Chicago Bulls. This is a back-to-back for Golden State. Torrey Craig's going to be out for Chicago. Kobe White, they don't think will play, so he's doubtful. Chris Duarte is questionable. Nobody cares. Odosumu, Javon Carter, both probable, so they're going to be returning. And then for the Warriors, there's no Kuminga, there's no Green. Pajemski and Kyle Anderson are out on Wednesday. I'm going to put them doubtful for Thursday. Gary Payton popped up as questionable for Wednesday. We'll see whether he plays. I would think if Payton plays Wednesday, he might not play Thursday. And then I've also put Steph as doubtful. Steph has had this knee problem ongoing. He sprained his ankle again the other day, and they said they're probably going to sit him in on most back-to-backs. So just watch. He might sit the back-to-back. And he's playing on Wednesday, so that would suggest that he probably doesn't play on Thursday. Although, without Draymond, maybe he has to force his way through it. On the Bulls side of things, I want to see what Josh Giddey's role is. Huge minutes last time out. With Kobe White out, it probably boosts him a little bit, but then you get Dosunmu back in there. So how do they use Dosunmu, Ball, Levine, Giddey? Who is the guy that loses out? In terms of stream guys, Dosunmu is probably the guy in Chicago, although Alonzo is very much next to him. And then in Golden State, Moses Moody, even though Guy Santos Al-Helper is going to be worth a look there, but these aren't like massive, massive high priority guys, but they're at least a little bit interesting in that particular space. The Celtics and the Lakers, I would love more clarity on this from Boston, and they continue to be frustrating in terms of providing updated injury news. It is a back-to-back for Boston heading in. It is a Schedule Plus spot for the Lakers as well. Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Drew Holiday. Yesterday, Porzingis was not listed on the injury report. Today, he is. Oh, wow. Okay, so now I don't know what they're going to do. So you got Porzingis, Horford. They're going to sit one of these two games, and Porzingis is now listed as questionable with an illness. It's just, I don't know, right? So we just watch to see what happens Wednesday. Don't expect them to play both games and just see how it goes. And Drew, I would say he's at risk of sitting either one of these games, if not both. For the Lakers, no Wood, no Vanderbilt, but he will return on Saturday. That is the word. Hood-Schifino's out, and I expect that Anthony Davis and LeBron will be listed as probable. On the Lakers side of things, Dorian Finney-Smith scored really well last game. He's still on a minutes limit, allegedly. Well, not allegedly, they told us he is. We'll see if that bumps up at all and how that cuts into other players' production. For the Celtics, the stream is probably Luke Cornett. But again, what if both of those centers sit on Wednesday and then they both play Thursday? I honestly don't know what they're going to do. And then Max Christie is going to be a Lakers stream pretty much every time they play, I think, at this point. And the last game is the Clippers and the Wizards. Another one of these games where there's an annoying schedule situation for the Clippers. This is going to be their fourth game in 5 nights. Yeah, fourth game in 5 nights. There you go. And that's bad. Obviously, not good. Bad for the health and fatigue levels of them. Brogdon's out for the Wizards. Bagley's out for the Wizards. And then what we have is Norman Powell, Kawhi Leonard, and Chris Dunn are out on Wednesday. So I expect that they play Thursday. Harden and Zubats is also out on Wednesday. Harden is listed questionable on Wednesday, so I'll put him questionable again on Thursday. Zubats is out on Wednesday, so I'll put him questionable on Thursday. So there's just a lot of different moving parts there. Nico Batum still questionable for Wednesday as well. I would doubt that he plays both of these games. I want to watch Kyle Kuzma because I'm just done with this guy. I'm done with the lack of efforts, done with the inefficiency. I guess I want to pay attention to see whether it makes me change my mind, but I don't know that it does. It probably doesn't, but we watch anyway. In terms of stream guys, Bob Carrington is probably the guy in Washington there. And for the Clippers, it could be Bumba if Zubats is out. It could be Chris Dunn. There's just, again, a lot of different parts. It could be Kevin Porter if Harden happens to be out. But that's one of those ones, again, where there's just a lot of different things that can change and can happen in that particular area. Today's episode is also brought to you by the Game Time app. When you want to get tickets to something, you don't want it to be a hassle. You want it to be easy, in fact. You want it to be fun. You want the energy and excitement of going to those events to match the process of buying tickets. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's an exaggeration. All you want is just for it not to be painful. And that's where Game Time Picks comes in. It filters out the fluff and shows you the good options, the best options for the tickets. So you're not sifting through thousands of different options that might not have good value or be good seats or whatever it is. You've got the views from your seats, so you can check that out. Game Time Picks shows you the good tickets. Plus, the all-in pricing means you don't get surprised at checkout with those fees. It is all included in the price as you click on the seat. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app and create an account. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Let's talk schedule now. What we want to look at is, who's got back-to-backs and chunks, and we're in a bit of a weird spot in the week, but we have to mention it. The only back-to-back Thursday to Friday is Portland. So if you're looking for a Thursday-Friday stream, it's Portland. Now, there's uncertainty with these guys. Rob Williams probably doesn't play both. Simons, Grant, Kamara, who knows? Chris Murray. I'd love to have some clarity on who plays. Does Delano Banton play minutes? I don't know. But it feels like there's always just going to be someone out every game. And we just got to try and find who that is. It's hard though, because again, there's no discernible pattern just at this point. And if we look at chunky stuff, well, the next 5 days, we're talking Thursday through to Monday, 2 of those days are not streamable. There's a 14-game day and a 12-game day. So the Blazers play 3 games over those 5 days, all on low-volume days. The Thunder played 2 games on low-volume days over those 5 days. Nobody else does. Everyone else is one game. So, the only sort of chunk stream you can do is finding a Blazers player or a Thunder player. They are the only teams who have more than one quality game in the next 5 days. So, Thursday and Friday, both quality game days. Saturday is not. Sunday is a Thunder and Blazers game. And Monday is 12 games. So your options are very limited. And now, from Thursday through to next Wednesday, if we're talking 5s and 2s, nobody has 5 games over the next 7 nights starting Thursday, and nobody has 2 games over the next 5 nights starting on Thursday. So that part of the schedule where we're getting a lot of that, which is the start of the week, that's sort of evening out now during this portion. Let's talk streaming. We'll get into the stream of the day. Or streams of the day. Maybe that's better. And again, there's a lot of weirdness here. Like Robert Williams is probably the stream of the day, but if Ayton plays, maybe not. Luke Cornett could be the second stream of the day. These are all risky, but what if both the centers play? I don't know. Duncan Robinson gets a bit of a boost in Miami with Butler suspended. You've got Patrick Williams as a 16-team stream guy. And then Khalil Ware, still 35% rostered on Yahoo, and that makes him an ESPN Points League stream and a Yahoo Points League stream as well. And you might say that was stupid, Josh. Why'd you say 35% on Yahoo? Why does that make him an ESPN stream? Because the ESPN roster percentages are incredibly unreliable, and you shouldn't use them to bet based on who's available or not. So I use Yahoo as a nice proxy number, but for both sort of leagues, Ware is just a guy to grab. If we dig a little bit more into 10-team streamers, take a look at who the guys are there. Like I said, Rob Williams, cool. Just don't know, though. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but that could get squashed by Cole Anthony playing or Franz Wagner returning, but still worth looking at. Lonzo Ball, Pig Williams, Andrew Nembhard, Luke Cornett. Some interesting guys there. Like Williams is pretty locked in. Nembhard is not a high upside guy. Ball is solid enough, but guys like Williams and Caldwell-Pope and Cornett could be good or could be bad. There's a lot of uncertainty around that at the moment. If you flick it over to 12s, it's the same. You go through the same list, obviously. But then Duncan Robinson's there, Vit Krejci, Pat Williams, Guy Santos Alhelpa, Moses Moody, and Bub Carrington. Let's look at deeper league category guys. Keyshawn George, Corey Kispert, Aaron Wiggins, Kevon Looney, Obi Toppin, and Julian Strother on that list. And then for ESPN and Yahoo Points League, same list here. These guys are all 40% rostered or below. Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Ayo Dosunmu, Jalen Williams, Nikola Jovic, and Andrew Nembhard. And that is the end of a preview show for a pretty messy looking Thursday. Remember, an early game, which is going to lock a lot of lineups, so be prepared, get those lineups set, especially if you're here in Australia. It's a 6 a.m. start for us, so get your lineup set, get everything going nice and early. Hit that subscribe button as well on this video and on the audio side of it as well. That would be great. Leave your comments down below and keep the smile up. Eat your pie, do that, but also look again. Just we all, there's always something bad at any point with anyone. It's small, it's big, it's whatever. There's always going to be something that you can look at and go, that was good. I like that. I did it well. I was strong. I did the right thing. I fixed a mistake. Whatever it is. It doesn't have to be huge. You don't have to change the world. You just gotta be looking to get better. Guys, we are done here. Thank you so much for listening, everyone. See ya.